So to find our magnitude of v, we would have (15 squared plus 8 squared). You put that in your calculator. See if you get a nice number. And you do. Okay, you should get 17. Now, if you didn't, we would have to talk about breaking down that square root. Once we have the magnitude, our second step is to find the angle. And that's where we do tangent theta equals v over a. Okay, so that's what we're going to use for that one. So our b, so 8, yep, 8 over a is 15. And if you remember, I'm going to show you how to put this in your calculator. Okay, because you have to do inverse tangent on this one. Tangent to the negative first is tangent inverse. Okay. Oops. That's not what we wanted to do. Okay, so I'm going to do second tangent. That will give me that tangent to the negative first, and then 8 divided by 15. Uh-oh, gotta check my mode. If that happens, if you get a weird number, check for degree. Make sure you're good there, so I can redo mine. Okay, so 28.07. The issue here is we have to make sure that we're in the proper quadrant. We've added what we need to add. So if we look at our original, it's a positive. Which quadrant are we in? Quadrant 1. It's normal, so we don't need to add anything to it. Okay? So we would say theta equals, I forget what it was, 28, so we'll just say 28.1. Okay, from there, we're going to put it into our trig form, and we're just going to use the one that we used yesterday for the magnitude times the cosine theta, sine theta. Okay, so we have our 17 on the outside, cosine 28.1. Okay, now we talked about when we have a angle that's not on the unit circle, okay, we're just going to have decimals. That's fine. So if we look at 28.1, that's obviously not on our unit circle. Okay, we're going to go ahead and distribute our 17. So we're going to distribute it into both the middle here. And from there, you can put those in your calculator. Again, make sure you're in degree mode before you proceed. Actually, you know what, guys? I don't even think we're going to put them in our calculator. I think we'll leave it like that. That way you don't have a bunch of ugly numbers. Let's just do that. Okay? So this would definitely be your trig form. Now, if I asked you to solve the trig form, then I would want the decimals, but I really don't see a purpose in doing that. So we'll just leave it like that. Make it easy. Okay. You could even really leave it like this with the 17 on the outside. Either way is totally fine. Okay. Let's go ahead and do number 2. Same steps. Okay, same steps. So first we're going to find the magnitude. Weird, right? It already has a square root in it. That's okay. You can put it in your calculator just like that. See if it turns out nice. Does anybody else get a decimal like 4.89? Yeah? Okay. So that means that we need to just figure out the number on the inside. Which for this one, I think, yeah, I'll do it without the square root. I'm going to do it up here just so you guys can see it because it's a little confusing, so it might benefit you to see it. You should get 24 on that one. I would utilize parentheses for sure. Okay, that's definitely going to get a little bit complicated unless you use parentheses. Another thing is when you do a square root, you have to press that right arrow. It'll take you out of the root. So you don't want that square root to kind of continue. So you have to make sure you use your right arrow. So we're going to have the square root of 24. Okay, and we need to break that down. So tell me the biggest perfect square that goes into 24. What do you think? 4? 4 going to 24? 4 times what? 6. So if we do 4 times 6, can I break square root of 6 down? One of those perfect squares go into 6 evenly? No, right? Like you can't take 6 and divide it by 4 and get a nice number. So that's how we know that we got the biggest breakdown here. So square root of 4 becomes 2, and we keep our square root of 6. So there's our magnitude. Okay, so now we're going to find our direction angle. So tangent theta equals b over a, so negative square root of 6 over 3, negative 3, divided by 2. And remember when you put it in, you have to do inverse tangent. So second tangent, and you have to utilize parentheses again here. Good. So you'll notice the whole thing is in parentheses, and then my numerator's in separate parentheses from my denominator. Okay, you should get 30. Okay, but what quadrant are we in? What quadrant are we in? Negative, negative. Quadrant 3, so we need to add 180 degrees. So it should be 210 degrees. All right, last step is to put them in that trig form. Ooh, what was our magnitude? 2 radical 6. Is 210 on the unit circle? Is 210 on the unit circle? Yes. Okay, so if I asked you to solve this, you would find 210, you do your cosine, you do your sine, distribute, do all that. Now, it's only asking for the trig form. Okay, so this is our answer right here. This is all we need to write. Or you could distribute the 2 radical 6. I think I'm going to keep it easy on us and just leave it out there. But if I asked you to solve it, okay, you would distribute the 2 radical 6, find your cosine and your sine. You would end up with your original vector. Okay, so you could check your answer that way by distributing. Okay, questions for me? All right, let's keep rolling. I know it's a lot of practice, but that's how we get better. Okay, I'm going to rewrite this into component form. This would be -1, 7. Just looks weird. Let me try again. Okay, so -1, 7. Same thing as if we were in linear combination, which is what they gave us. Okay, what's my first step? Find the magnitude. I think that'll be radical 50. We have 7 squared is 49, -1 squared is 1. And 50 is not a perfect square. So we're going to break that down. What's the biggest perfect square that goes into 50? 25. How many times? 2 times. Okay, so 25 and 2, break down the square root of 25, it becomes 5. Let me keep our radical 2. Probably should put multiplication. Okay, what comes next? It's our second step. Find the angle or direction. So we're going to have 7 over -1. What quadrant are we in here? Two, right? So negative, positive, so we're in quadrant 2. So whatever we get, we're going to add 180 to it. Right, negative, we'll just call it negative 81.9. Negative 81.9. Add 180, so our angle is 98.1. Okay, last step, put it in trig form. Okay, I asked you to solve it. Okay, you can solve it. Okay, try the next one on your own. Okay, see if you do that completely by yourself. These are 3 steps. Okay, so first step is magnitude, second step angle, third step put it in that trig form. Good morning. Good, how are you? Sure. No, that's fine. We're actually about to just finish notes, so that's totally great. All right, we'll do that. Okay. All right. Magnitude. So we'd have okay, that's what you should have ended up with at the very end. Okay, your magnitude was 2 radical 2, your angle was 135. Now, I want to talk about the directions. Okay, if you look at the directions for this specific one, it says put it in trigonomic form. That means that you're going to see a cosine and a sine. So just think, trig is cosine, sine, and tangent. So when it says put it in trig form, you're going to have the trig in it. If you look at the directions above, on the very top, it says find the component form. We know the component form is this. Okay, so that's how on that one we were using the unit circle. Does that make sense? Yeah, the difference in those? Okay, so when you see trig, just leave trig in the answer. The last two are the exact same thing, except they don't give you the component form. So you have to find the component form first. Okay. Any questions on this one before we move on? Perfect. All right, so here we just have to find that component form first. Okay, and you're going to use this guy right here. x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1. sure I did my math right. Uh-oh. Oh, that's not the same one. Is this the same one that you guys have for 13? Did I skip one? Oh, I see. I was on practice. Okay, we're good. All right, now we can find our magnitude. Now we can do our direction. And then we can do trig form. Okay, so our magnitude, we have negative 8 squared. Always hope and pray for a nice number, but it doesn't always happen. Nope. Alright, you should get the square root of 80 on this one. Alright, what's the biggest first square that goes into 80? I think 16, and it goes in 5 times. So it'd be radical 16 times radical 5. And then radical 16 will become 4. We're negative, negative, so we're in quadrant 3, so whatever we get, we need to add 180. We'll just call it 206 points. Oh, sorry, I got 26 points. Okay, so give 14 a shot on your own. We'll be done with notes. Same steps, but you have to find that component form first. That should be your final answer that you should get for number 14. You want me to walk through it? Good. Okay. If you flip to the very back, you should already have the first part of the practice done. If you flip to the very back of your packet, that's the practice for this part that we just did. So it relates to examples 5 through 14 on your practice. So it's literally the exact same, just different. Okay, so use that to help you. So right now, have you guys ever done like an escape room or like a breakout room? Have you ever done one of those? So I'm working on building one. So we're gonna do this. So it takes me like hours and hours, but it's so worth it. So I'll build that. We're gonna do that tomorrow just to practice this stuff. We'll be in groups, but I would say just bring a computer with you because you're gonna need computers for it. Okay, so just bring those with you. Work on that practice. Ask me questions if you need to. I'll leave my answers up here. You can check yourself.